iOS 11 is famous for not having the best battery life. Actually, almost everybody is having problems with it. So I decided to film this video showing you guys 20 tips on how to save the most of your battery life with Apple's latest operating system. So let's just go ahead and get started. First, I'm going to talk about a feature called Hey Siri. So the thing is, every time you say that phrase, that happens. So that pops up. So it means that your iPhone is always listening for that phrase. So that actually drains quite a lot of battery. Turning it off is actually pretty easy. All you have to do is go to Settings, and then you scroll down to Siri and Search, and then listen for Hey Siri, and then you turn that off. Okay? So that's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and that's gonna help you already a lot. Now something that almost nobody knows. If you actually want to turn off your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, you generally go for your control center and then you turn off your Wi-Fi, turn off your Bluetooth, and then you think that's it. But actually not. If you turn off via the control center, all you're doing is disconnecting from already connected devices. So you're disconnecting from the router and you are disconnecting from any source that is connected, any device that is connected to your Bluetooth. But it is not actually turned off. So it is constantly searching and searching and searching for devices, even though it is not connected to anything. So to actually turn it off, you have to go to Settings, and then, as you guys can see, not connected, not connected. But it's not actually off. All you have to do is go to Wi-Fi, then you turn it off, then Bluetooth, then you turn off, and then when you come back, let's say to any page, and then open your control center, then you see that it is crossed out on your Wi-Fi and crossed out on your Bluetooth. So then now you're actually turned off and saving battery life. Something that we all use is the flashlight little widget. Okay, and what we generally do is we tap here, and then the flashlight turns on. Okay, it's pretty bright, but not everybody knows that you actually can force touch on your flashlight and then actually like drag down and up in order to make it brighter or less bright. And this uses a lot of your battery life. So if you just use it on level 1 or level 2, it's already pretty bright enough for any dark environment, and then you are saving battery life. Another cool tip is regarding AirDrop. So generally AirDrop is turned on by default, but actually it is always constantly searching again for devices and things to transfer data and information. And all you have to do is actually open your control center, force touch on the network widget, and then right here AirDrop is set to everyone. So you tap and then you put receiving off. So that way it's not looking for anything. Something that is extremely important but that we generally don't give the necessary attention is background app refresh. Okay, if you go to Settings and then we go to General and then background app refresh right here, we can see that background app refresh allow apps to refresh their content when your Wi-Fi or cellular in the background. Turning off apps may help preserve battery life. Okay, so that's actually what we want. So all you have to do is go for background app refresh, and then you decide for refresh on Wi-Fi or cellular, only Wi-Fi or off. Okay, so it is up to you. Okay, for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna leave it off. So that means that the app will not be refreshing and looking for new information in the background, okay? It's only gonna refresh once you open it. So you can't choose one by one, okay, as you guys can see. So it's either all of them or none of them. So it is actually up to you depending on how you want to save your battery life. Okay, I'm gonna leave it off for the purpose of this video. Another cool feature that was introduced a couple years ago is iOS widgets. Okay, so as we all know, if we scroll left, we have some widgets right here that we can quickly have a look at some information and then have quite a lot of information very easily. But the thing is, some of these widgets actually use quite a lot of your battery life because they're always updating in the background and everything like that. So I recommend actually deleting or removing anything that you don't use just for things that are necessary. So for example, Patriots here is looking for results and news and things like that. Like 9gag is looking for new information, new posts, location, anything. So I really recommend just putting the strictly the necessary. Handoff is a really cool feature that was introduced a couple years ago as well, and that lets you pick up where you left off on different devices. So you're using something on Safari, you're browsing the web, and then you open your iPad or on your Mac, and then it is exactly on the same page, and everything is saved and synced via a range of different apps. But most people don't use it, and it is always syncing and backing up and all of that, so it's using a lot of your battery life. So in order to turn it off, all you have to do is go to settings and then go to general and then look for hand off and then turn it off. Something that I've shown before is actually that you can manage your battery life by apps, by how they use. So all you have to do is go to general and then battery and then wait for it to load, and then as you guys can see here, you can see the battery usage by app. Okay, so the last 24 hours and the last 7 days. Okay, so the percentage of usage of battery by app. So this is pretty cool because you can actually see which apps you're using, and then you can actually control that and maybe reduce that a little bit in order to save life. So that's pretty cool. There's not a lot you can do with it. You can see obviously the percentage, and you can see the time that you were using those apps, but other than that is more of an information thing. And a plus tip is that right here within your battery, you can actually see battery life suggestions, and right here is telling me to enable auto lock, which I will show you in a second. Talking about your cellular services, you can go to settings and then scroll down a little bit to cellular, and right here you can do quite a few things. First off, you can actually take a look at the cellular usage by app. Okay, so that's pretty interesting because then sometimes you see apps that you don't actually use and they are using your data, which means that they're using your battery life. So if for those apps, you can take a look at app by app and actually disable a few of those that you actually don't want to be using your cellular data. So then you can save data and battery life. So that's pretty cool because you can manage app by app. Another cool thing is Wi-Fi assist. So as you guys can see, automatically use cellular data when Wi-Fi connectivity is poor. Okay, so then you can leave it on or off, so it'll use the help of your cellular data when your Wi-Fi is pretty bad, when your connection is bad. In a way that's good, but in a way that's bad for cellular data, of course, because it's using your data, but also because cellular uses more battery life than Wi-Fi. So if you want, you can leave it off, and then if your Wi-Fi is bad, it's going to continue to be bad. Mail has some critical settings that can help your battery life a lot. So let me show you what those are. So you go to settings and then you scroll down to your accounts and passwords. And right here you see your accounts. So some of these are mail, some of these are iCloud, and then you go for fetch new data. Okay, right here in fetch new data, you have the option for push. Okay, so new data will be pushed to your iPhone from the server when possible. Okay, so it's going to be constantly looking for new data, so you can actually turn that off. Okay, and right here, since push is off, you can actually set a schedule for fetch. That means that every 30 minutes or every 15 minutes or every hour, it will actually look for new data and then fetch back to your phone. So you have those options right here, and what I recommend to save battery life is put manually. If you put it for manually, it means that it's not gonna push because we selected push off at the top, and it's not gonna fetch anytime unless you want it to. So if you open the Mail app, it's gonna fetch for new data, but if not, it is not. Okay, so this is pretty extreme. It is only interesting if you don't really like mail and if you don't really use mail. If you are a mail person like me, you need it for work or things like that, I don't recommend doing that. But if you're not, and not a lot of people use mails today, this is not going to be bad for you. It is pretty convenient having all your apps updated automatically, but it actually uses quite a lot of your battery life. So if you want to stop that, you can go to settings, and then you can scroll down to iTunes and App Store, and then turn off automatic downloads. So you can turn off music, apps, books and audiobooks and updates. So that means that you're not going to be having any of those automatic downloads, so you're going to be saving quite a lot of your battery life. And you can also use cellular data. You can turn that off as well, because as I said, cellular data uses more battery life than Wi-Fi. Now let's talk about display brightness. Apple has hidden the auto brightness function in the settings app, maybe for us not to be playing with it, but we actually need to. So let's go to the settings app, and if you find a hard time looking for some of these settings, you can always hit the search bar right here. So let's hit the search bar and just put auto brightness. Okay, so general, accessibility, display accommodations, so see how it's hidden, and then auto brightness. Okay, so right here, display accommodation, and then you can see auto brightness is turned on. So you can actually turn it off. so it's not going to be always using the sensor and then putting the brightness up or down, up or down, up or down, when sometimes it's not actually necessary. So then for now on, all you have to do is actually use this toggle right here and then adjust. But if you leave it like midway, a little bit over midway or a little bit in between midway, you're going to be finding 80% of the situations, and you're going to be saving all of that of battery life. Notifications are the heart of any phone nowadays, but sometimes we need to restrict them. So let's go to settings and then go to notifications right here, and then you can see that all these apps have notifications. Okay, so all you have to do is actually go one by one and see the apps that you actually don't need notifications and turn them off. And I'm saying that because notifications use a lot of battery life. It's one of the things that most use battery life, like just on par with brightness and things like that, because it is constantly looking for new information and pushing to your phone. So it is very, very bad actually. So if you have like Fox, for example, right here, it's an app. Everybody knows Fox. So, but I don't need notifications. So you just go for Fox and then allow notifications, and then you disable everything just like that. So then you have quite a lot of apps, like I have quite a lot of apps, and I believe you do too. So I always recommend going to them one by one and just turning off completely those apps that you don't need to be notified. Okay, now I'm going to talk about something that is very critical to our battery life. And that is location services. Just with like notifications and screen brightness, this is a big thing. So go into settings and then scroll down to privacy and then location services, or you can search, as I showed you before. You can see right here that you can completely turn it off, but I don't recommend that obviously. But then you can see app by app what you want to be notified, what you want your location to be used. So for example, Real Madrid. The Real Madrid app is using my location. I don't need that. I don't need Real Madrid to know where I am. So you just put never. For some apps you can put while using the app. That's necessary, like Waze or navigation in general. So that's actually necessary. And I don't recommend putting always on any application. Another interesting thing regarding the location services is that you can actually scroll down all the way down, and you have right here almost hidden system services. Okay. As you click here, you see that you have quite a lot of services that use your location, but you have to be careful not to actually turn off things that are interesting. But for example, let's say location-based suggestions. I don't want that. I don't need that. Location-based Apple ads. I don't want that. I don't want Apple giving me ads based on my location because I'm not interested in ads. Location-based alerts. In Brazil, that actually doesn't work, so I'm gonna turn it off. But depending on where you live, this might be interesting. Obviously, Find My iPhone is interesting. Emergency SOS is interesting. HomeKit, I don't use any of the HomeKit apps or products or anything, so I'm gonna turn that off as well. Compass calibration, maybe it is interesting if you use Compass, but for me, I don't. Emergency SOS, I'm gonna leave it on. Call network search, that's interesting. Motion, and that's interesting for me because I use it for fitness. So then you have to take a look at all these things. Share my location if you want. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. This product improvement, analytics, popular near me, routing and traffic, improved maps. I don't use any of that because I don't use the Apple Maps. So then I can turn all of that off. Now we have significant locations. If you tap here, you have to actually use your fingerprint, and then you can see that allow significant location. Allow your iPhone to learn places significant to you in order to provide you useful location related information in maps, calendar, So that means that it is actually always tracking your location. So that's at the same time creepy and at the same time using your battery life all the time. So turn that off because you probably don't want that. Before I open this, I had a list of all the places I were right here. Obviously I deleted for privacy reasons, but it was tracking me for quite a long time and I didn't even know about that. So I recommend actually turning that off. Since we were talking about privacy and location services, something that is very interesting is scrolling down. Not a lot of people know you can scroll down here and go to analytics, and then you can see that you have some information right here that you may want to play with. Okay, so share iPhone and watch analytics, it is off on my situation. Share iCloud analytics, it is off. I recommend turning those off because it's always sending information to Apple, so draining your battery life. So that's something that already can help on its own. Remember that auto lock feature that I mentioned in the beginning of the video? Let's talk about that. So let's go to settings and then scroll down and go to display and brightness. Now it is in a different location in iOS 11. So go to display and brightness, and then auto lock. In my case, it is never. Okay, I don't recommend doing that. I use never because I never forget my phone with the screen on, but a lot of people do. So maybe you want to put it for 1 minute or 2 minutes, so then if your iPhone is left and then you forget about it and the screen is on for some reason, and then after that time it turns off. Okay, this is an old feature, almost everybody knows about it, but it's always worth mentioning. Now I'm going to talk about 2 features that I personally not going to use on my iPhone because I think they're a little bit too drastic, but maybe for you, if your battery life is pretty bad, that could help. So number 1, that feature is raise to wake. I love that feature, and there is no way I'm gonna disable it on my iPhone, but maybe it will be good for you. So as you know, you can like raise to wake, you can turn it off, and then every time your screen is turned off and then you lift your phone, in this case it is not gonna wake. Okay, so it's not gonna turn on. For me, I love that feature and I would never turn that off, but maybe, as I said, it could be good for you. So it is under display and brightness, right next to auto lock that we just talked about. After that, we're going to talk about reduce motion. So I'm just going to search for reduce motion, as you guys can see, and then right here, and then reduce motion. Reduce the motion of the user interface, included the parallax effect of icons. Okay, so if you turn that on, a lot of the effects, like a lot of the tilting effects and the effects of the icons when you open and close, they are going to be very simple. Okay, you're going to lose all of these motions and all these cool features, and for me, I think it is not worth it because it just interferes with the user experience of your iOS. I just think it is a beautiful operating system, and I don't want to jeopardize that over a little bit of battery life. But if it is not interesting for you, if you don't actually care for that, go ahead and reduce motion. And last but not least, low power mode, of course. It is probably the best tip and the best feature because just with one tap you can actually save a lot of your battery life with a lot of different parameters that Apple designed just for that, saving battery life. So you can use it, you can put it in your control center as I put it right here. You can go in settings and then control center, customize controls, and then you can add. Okay, you can add all of that, so you can add low power mode, so then you always have in your control center, or you can just go via the settings, battery, and toggle low power mode. So that's pretty much that, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a blast doing it, especially because a lot of these tips I'm gonna use for myself. And if you did as well, please hit the like button down here and also hit the comment section. Let me know what you think, and also subscribe to my channel because you'll be notified every time I post a new video, but only if you click in the little bell icon. I hope you enjoyed it. I see you guys next week. Bye bye.